What follows is a reconstructed transcript of voicemail messages left by one Aldous Vane, keeper of the Heron Point Lighthouse, during the final 9 days of his documented presence on the island. The messages were left on the answering machine of his sister, Marta Vane Hollis, of Grayport, Maine. Marta preserved the tapes and submitted them to the Twilight Registry in the spring of 1995, 14 months after her brother's disappearance. She made one request, that we listen to them in order. She said, "They only make sense if you hear them in order." What he understood at the end, he didn't understand at the beginning. You have to walk with him. We did. This is what we heard. Voicemail 1, February 22nd, 1994, 6:47 p.m. Marta. It's Al. Nothing much to report. Weather's been strange. Fog rolling in earlier than usual this time of year. Usually we don't see heavy fog until April, but it's been sitting on the water since last Thursday. Visibility's down to maybe a quarter mile on a good day, less on a bad one. Beam's running fine. Had some geese come through this afternoon, which was nice. I'm going to make that lamb stew you sent the recipe for. Call me back when you get a chance. Voicemail 2, February 24th, 11:22 p.m. Marta, it's me. Sorry for the late hour. Can't sleep. The fog's been doing something. I don't know how to describe it. You know how fog moves? Usually it's passive, drifting, the way smoke behaves when there's no wind. This isn't doing that. It's moving against the wind. I've checked my instruments twice. Wind is coming out of the northwest at about 12 knots. The fog is coming in from the southeast, against the wind. I'm probably overthinking it. Weather at the lighthouse does strange things with the thermals. I just wanted to note it, in case it's relevant to something later. Get some sleep. Voicemail 3, February 25th, 3:14 p.m. There's something in the fog. That sounds more alarming than I mean it. There is an object in the fog. A shape. I can see it from the gallery. Big enough to be a small vessel, but it's not moving like a vessel. It's stationary. Has been stationary since at least midnight, possibly longer. I've swept the beam over it a dozen times. Whatever it is, absorbs the light rather than reflecting it. That's the wrong word. Not absorbs, drinks it. I swept the beam over it and the light went in, and nothing came back. I've radioed the Coast Guard. They say there's nothing on radar in that grate. Voicemail 4, February 26th, 8:55 a.m. I've been watching it all night. It moved slowly. I almost missed it. It's closer now, maybe half a mile off the rocks, and it's changed shape. Last night it was blocky, like a vessel. Now it's thinner, elongated, like it adjusted, like it looked at the coastline and decided to look more like the coastline. I know how that sounds. I'm a rational man, Marta. I keep this log. I know the difference between fog playing tricks and a genuine anomaly. This is a genuine anomaly. Voicemail 5, February 28, 2:30 p.m. It's been 2 days since I called. I've been watching it almost continuously. I want to tell you what I've observed. It is not a vessel. It is not a geological formation. There are no submerged rocks in that grid. I know every shoal and reef within 3 miles of this light. It is an entity. I don't use that word lightly. I use it because it is the only word that fits. It behaves as though it is making decisions. It is now perhaps 300 yards off the point. It is approximately 40 feet across at its widest. It is shaped like the shoreline, like a section of the coast reproduced, as if it studied the rocks and the waterline and the edge of the island and made itself into a copy of it. I can see my own landing dock in its silhouette. I can see the boathouse. I can see the slope of the hill. It has learned the shape of this place, Marta. It has learned this place, and it is wearing it. Voicemail 6. March 1st, 7:12 a.m. I've tried leaving. I put the dinghy in last night. Got as far as 30 yards out. The fog moved. I don't mean it thickened. I mean it moved, as a body, as a deliberate shape. And then I was turned around. I ended up back at the dock. I had not changed course. The compass was steady. But I was back at the dock. I've secured the dinghy. I'm staying put. I want you to know I'm not panicking. I'm documenting. That's what I know how to do. I'm documenting, and the beam is running, and I'm fine. Voicemail 7. March 2nd, 11:48 p.m. Marta. It's at the rocks. It's been at the rocks for 6 hours. I can hear it. I don't know how to describe the sound. You know the sound the light makes when it sweeps? The low mechanical pulse. The way the rotation creates a rhythm? It's making that sound. It learned the sound from somewhere. It's making the sound of the lighthouse. And it's standing at the rocks, in the shape of this island. And it's making the sound of the lighthouse beam. And I think it's trying to look like this place so completely that I won't notice when it isn't me standing in the lamp room anymore. I think it's building a door. Marta, I want you to know I love you very much. I want you to know the log is up to date. I want you to know that if something comes out of this fog that says it's me, and it knows my voice, and it knows everything I know, I want you to remember that the real one ran out of coffee on February 18th and told you he missed your cooking. And that was a real conversation. And this is a real voicemail. And I am still here. I am still here. Voicemail 8. March 3rd, 4:69 a.m. The door is open. I can see through it. On the other side, there is a lighthouse. Same as this one. Same rocks, same boathouse, same lamp. But the beam is wrong. The beam on the other side is pointing inward, not out to sea, not warning ships away, pointing in, into the island, into the ground. I understand now. It's not warning ships away from the rocks. It's calling something up from them. The fog is inside the lighthouse. I'm going to try to close the end of recorded messages. Message 8 terminates mid-sentence at 5:01 a.m. on March 3, 1994. The Heron Point light went dark at 5:03 a.m. Alvis Vane was reported missing on March 9th when the Coast Guard arrived for a routine supply delivery. The lighthouse was found intact. The lamp mechanism was undamaged. The log was current through March 2nd. Its final entry reading, entity adjacent, door structure forming, beam integrity intact. All previous entries verified accurate. Keeper Vane. No remains were found. The fog had cleared by the time the Coast Guard arrived. The water was calm. The sky was pale and cold and ordinary. But on the rocks at the base of the point, the investigating officer, one Lieutenant Crame, whose own statement is on file with this registry, noticed a line of indentations in the stone, as if something very large had stood there, as if something had stood at the waterline for a long time, pressing down. He said the marks looked like they had been made by the shape of a building. They have not been explained. The Twilight Registry has held this file for 30 years. We have listened to the tapes more times than we can count. We have studied the physics of fog, the behavior of light over open water, the mechanics of what has been called atmospheric lensing. We have found no explanation for a shape that learned to look like a shore. We have found no explanation for a door. We have found no explanation for what a lighthouse beam might call up from the rock beneath the sea, if it were turned around, if it were aimed inward, if something else were running it. Alvis Vane kept a careful log. He was a rational man. He said he was still there. We believe him. We are still looking. This has been a Twilight Registry recovered audio transcript. Some doors, once opened, are not closed by the absence of the person who found them. Some beams keep turning. Some things keep answering. We keep the light on. We are not entirely sure anymore what that means.